Yes, it is a very dark day for democracy and for the international rules-based order on which we have relied to keep peace and security in our world since the end of the Second World War. In terms of the sanctions that were announced today, of course, we are now escalating in the sanctions that are on the table. We announced a full suite on Tuesday, and we've increased the number of sanctions today. Russian banks, Russian oligarchs, members of the National Council. This is going to certainly over time bite harder and harder for Russia. The costs will increase, especially when you consider that Canada is working in lockstep with its NATO allies to impose sanctions. In the history of the world, we have seen sanctions work before, including in the dismantling of the apartheid regime in South Africa. And we believe, as do our allies, that sanctions are potent and they will become increasingly painful for Vladimir Putin.
Are there more sanctions coming? Many questions. Why did your government and others not directly sanction Vladimir Putin? Was that on the table?
As I said, the approach that we are taking is an escalatory one. So we are not putting everything out on the table on day one. You have seen that already this week. And indeed, what we also did today was to ensure the cancellation of export permits. This is another costly measure for Russia, and including the issue that you mentioned, all options are on the table. And we are working with our allies to make sure that we are coordinated as we escalate. This is going to be painful for Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin warned the West, and I'm going to quote him, that interfering with the conflict would bring, and here's his quotation, consequences as you have never before experienced in your history. Retired Major General Dave Fraser told me he interpreted that as a threat to use nuclear weapons. The Charge d'Affaires of Ukraine said he is concerned that they might use a dirty nuclear bomb. Do you interpret that as Vladimir Putin using a nuclear threat?
I interpret that as Vladimir Putin misrepresenting the facts. In fact, he is the aggressor. He is the one who put 150,000 troops at the Ukrainian border and has now invaded. He is the one exacting airstrikes on Ukraine. He is the one that is contributing and ensuring the buildup of military might in the Black Sea. And as a result, Ukraine's sovereignty has been attacked. And NATO, as a defensive alliance, is standing with Ukraine, is standing with the rules-based order, is standing with territorial integrity. That's what I think we have to remember. The aggressor is Putin, and we are taking a defensive posture and are very hopeful that at some point a diplomatic solution will be reached.
I appreciate that, and there's no question that Russia is the aggressor. I don't think we're going to have that debate on this program right now because of the invasion. But I'm just trying to ask how the Canadian government and you as the defense minister interpret Vladimir Putin warning the West that if they interfere with this conflict, there will be, quote, consequences as you have never before experienced in your history. Is that a nuclear threat?
Well, Evan, let me tell you what we are doing as an alliance. We are taking all information that we receive through our intelligence, and we are planning for every eventuality. That is our obligation to do as a defensive and deterrent NATO alliance, and we will continue to ensure that we are preparing for every eventuality with the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, who is very much on this issue in terms of the graduated response plan, of course, that NATO is utilizing to prepare for this very issue.
Minister, you put 3,400 troops on standby. That's close to a full battalion. Where could they be deployed? How quickly? And what could they do?
Well, Evan, I think I need to explain to you, you're using the word standby. In reality, what we've done as a NATO country, and all NATO countries do this, is we put forward certain pledges to NATO on an annual basis. And then NATO makes a decision as to whether it wants to draw down on those pledges. and then they are deployed. So we have put forward 3,400 troops, as you mentioned, as well as other possibilities that Canada can contribute. If NATO decides to draw down on those pledges, there will be a discussion back home as to what would be permitted to go and when. And there would also be another discussion as to what else NATO wanted to draw down upon. So there's a process here, and that question cannot be answered until the process takes its course.
Minister, this is a very quickly evolving situation. No one thought Russia was going to attack this massively, north, south, east. Could Canadian troops who are on the ground in Ukraine on that training mission? We know there's also special forces. I know they're in Lviv, which is in the western part. But if this expands, could they get involved in fighting on the ground if Russia attacks that area?
Actually, our Canadian Armed Forces are no longer in Lviv. They have moved to Poland, and they are standing ready to assist with the humanitarian effort that may be required if Canadians begin to leave Ukraine. In terms of your question relating to combat, there is no plans at the current time to have Canadian Armed Forces engaged in a combat mission in Ukraine. Their purpose is a training mission, and that has been temporarily suspended while this conflict occurs. I will say that Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg reiterated this point. NATO does not intend, nor has it been asked, to engage in combat in Ukraine at the current time.
Minister, today you said $10 million of lethal aid has arrived and been delivered to Ukraine. Can you give us any indication of what it is and it's used for, and is more lethal aid coming to help the Ukrainian military?
Actually, it's $7 million of lethal aid and about $3 million of non-lethal aid. All of it has been delivered. All of it is on the ground, and all of it is able now to be used by the Ukrainian military. In terms of additional aid going forward, I am, of course, very engaged in this file. I've had long conversation with Minister Resnikov about what is needed from a Ukrainian standpoint. And as I said, we are considering all options. We stand with Ukraine. And I mean that very seriously. We are taking their needs into account and doing what we can as a country together with our allies to ensure that Ukraine's sovereignty, stability, and security is protected. Why? It is not only their security that is at issue, but the security of the Western world and the international rules-based order that we have relied upon since the end of the Second World War.
Minister Anand, Defense Minister for Canada, on a very, as you say, an historic day and a terrible day for democracies as Russia invades Ukraine. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Evan. Take care.